Non-volatile memory express drives have become a staple in modern PCs, laptops, and even consoles. It's true that there are already drives based on the Peripheral Component Interconnect Express 5.0 interface, but they are excessively expensive. And the first models clearly have trouble maintaining stable temperatures. That's why it's worth taking another look at the increasingly affordable Peripheral Component Interconnect Express 4.0 drives. This time, we'll be reviewing the most efficient model currently offered by the Japanese company Kioxia Exceria Pro, which is the model in question, should read data at a speed of 7,300 megabytes per second, but what is its actual performance? Today, we'll find out from this perspective. Pavel, do you watch the TechManiac HD channel? You're invited. You can watch this material thanks to the support of the GVG Mall platform. It's a huge store specializing in keys for games on PC, Xbox, PlayStation, and even Google Play. Here you can get practically everything from Steam gift cards to software like Office or Windows. If you're still dealing with that obvious activation reminder, visit the link in the description now. You'll get the purchased key in minutes. Just paste it into activation settings. This will not only legalize your version of the system, but also allow you to upgrade to Windows 11 without any problems. You can activate and assign the Office package to your account just as easily, and with the code TMHD, you'll get an additional 20% discount, which can increase to 30% during various holidays and events. Stop overpaying and visit the website now. This small box is branded by Kioxia. Although this brand has only recently appeared in the industry, there is no need to worry about the quality of the product itself. The name comes from combining the words Kiok, meaning memory, and action value. So we are indeed dealing with valuable memory, and that's because behind it all stands Toshiba Memory itself. It has more experience in the market than anyone else, because it was Toshiba who first introduced NAND flash memory in 1987. The name change to Kioxia is just a new image for Toshiba. Also, no one should be surprised that the manufacturer gives a 5-year warranty on the Exceria Pro. According to the specifications, the 1TB model should withstand 400 TB of writes, and the 2TB version accordingly more 800 TB. This value might not seem shocking at first, but if we calculate the terabyte W over the warranty period, it turns out that to exceed this value in 5 years, we would have to write 450 GB to the drive every single day. The average user, even downloading new games from time to time, usually doesn't exceed 50 GB per day. So presumably, such a lifespan should last us even up to 45 years. So I guess it's finally time to open the box. The non-volatile memory express and SSD drive itself is safely placed in a plastic tray, and we also have a booklet and a foolproof instruction manual for opening the blister pack. It's worth mentioning that Kioxia doesn't offer a version with a dedicated heatsink, but if you need one, I'll put some links in the description to cheap yet interesting options in various sizes. In terms of construction, Exceria Pro is quite surprising, because even in the 2TB version, all the modules are placed on one side of the printed circuit board. Thanks to this, even this 2TB unit is only 2 mm thick. It may seem like a small thing, but in reality, it matters more than you might think. Single-sided module placement increases compatibility with M2 drive slots and with the vast majority of coolers. Getting back to the construction, under the sticker there's a controller branded by Kioxia and 4 TLC memory chips, each made up of 112 layers. There's also a single 2 GB double data rate 4-chip from SK Hynix, which serves as cache memory. On the manufacturer's website, we can find information about the maximum read and write speeds, as well as the number of operations per second expressed in input-output operations per second. Raw data won't do us much good, so let's move on to the tests and comparisons I've done for you. Let's start with the AS SSD benchmark. It's true that this one gives speeds expressed in MBS, but it also provides a score, which is what we'll focus on and compare with competing products. I chose drives with the same capacity for the comparison. This way, it'll be easier for us to spot the individual differences between them, and the chart itself will be much clearer. If you want to take a look at how this data compares with drives of other capacities and different interfaces, you can pause the video now and take a closer look. But in this case, I think that too much is not good, and an overload of data can give you a headache. So let's move on to the first chart, which shows the score given by the program and refers to read performance only. As you can see, Exceria Pro performs very well both when empty and when filled up to 80%. Kingston drives are faster, and filling them doesn't impact performance. The weakest performer here is the PNY product. It may be faster when empty, but we buy drives to actually store things on them, and that's where PNY raises the white flag. Let's move on to writing, where the situation for Kioxia looks quite good. The speeds when empty almost match the KC3000 model from Kingston. It's true that at 80% capacity the results drop a bit, but it's still a result that places this drive at the top of the C segment. Also check out PNY's performance here. To sum up, the result from AS SSD once again shows that Kingston's products are extremely hard to beat. But for how long? If the price is significantly lower, then the Exceria Pro is definitely worth considering as a potential drive for our computer. After all, it's not a bad product, and from my tests, the maximum speeds stated by the manufacturer, 7,300 megabytes as read and 6,400 megabytes as write, are indeed achieved. However, if we compare the sequential read speeds with the other 3 drives I tested, the results still look very positive. However, the write speed itself, especially on a filled drive, falls a bit behind the rest. Kioxia turns out to be about 13% weaker in that case, but in reality we won't notice it that much. And in my honest opinion, if the price is significantly lower, this is a drive that will still serve us faithfully for many years, and therefore it will be worth buying. But what is its price? The current price is in the description and pinned comment. But before you do that, please take a look at the software called SSD Utility, which Kioxia has prepared here for its users. Right on the first page, this software clearly provides us with information about storage usage, current temperature, and any possible alerts. Here we can find out if new options are available, check the manufacturer's firmware, and also see the health status of the drive. But interestingly, this software also shows the number of lanes and the interface the device is working with. If we had a problem reaching maximum speeds, something like this allows for a quick diagnosis. Because it happens that when you connect the drive to the second or third M-2 port, it doesn't work as Peripheral Component Interconnect Express 4.0, but as 3.0. The problem is that on many motherboards, only the first M-2 port supports the newer standard, and not everyone may even know about this, at least until they look at the motherboard manufacturer's description. But let's get back to the software. In the Benchmark tab, we can test the speed of the drive, and the SSD tuner allows you to activate so-called over-provisioning. The use of extra memory blocks improves SSD performance and helps extend its lifespan, so is it worth going for the Exceria Pro? The performance may not be as high as the competition, but at this level of read and write speeds, differences of around 10 to 15% aren't really noticeable. In most cases, the specifications provided by the manufacturer are definitely achievable here. Additionally, even when the drive is full, it still works well. It's worth checking the price because in the end, that's what plays the decisive role here. On top of that, we get functional software for managing the drive. And those who want to add an extra heatsink shouldn't have any trouble finding the right set, because in the tested 2TB variant, as I already mentioned earlier, all the components are placed on one side of the printed circuit board. The main drawbacks of this drive, at least compared to the competition, are the relatively low terabytes written rating and lower write speeds. Some people might also complain about the lack of hardware data encryption, although in my opinion, for consumer hardware, this is an unnecessary feature. When choosing between Kioxia, Exceria Pro or some other model, the ideal price. Within a year since its release, it dropped by 40% and there should be more price reductions coming. So it's worth checking how much it currently costs, and the link under the video will make it easier for you. If you like this material, be sure to visit my website, TechManiac HD. Thanks to the intuitive menu, you'll definitely find more inspiring content there. See you in the next one.